Hi, hello, welcome to my little corner of the internet. This is my cat Mabel. She doesn't like being held and she's very grumpy. Boy. Uh-oh. What am I trying to say? I really don't know what's wrong with my memory. Like, I don't know if I should get it checked. And honestly, it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. So today we are going to be finishing all the fantasy series that I am in the middle of, which is surprisingly not very many. I usually like to get through my series pretty quickly with some refreshers in between because I have a horrible memory. I'll forget everything that happens and I end up having to look up like summaries for the first or second books or whatever so I can continue on in the series. I'll honestly probably have to do that in this video as well. So I'm currently in the middle of Iron Flame. I'm on page 170. This book is long. The words are so small and there are over 600 pages. I'm honestly a pretty slow reader. With fantasy books especially, my brain cannot comprehend some things. So I read about like 30 to 40 pages an hour, so we have a lot of reading ahead of us. I'm also in the middle of the Caraval series. So I read the first one and I liked it okay. I've actually heard that people's favorites out of the whole series is Legendary. We're gonna be finishing this series and so I'm excited to see how this wraps up. I'm curious where this is about to go. And then I can read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which, fun fact, I've already read the first two out of that series and I didn't like them. So I'm giving it another chance by going back and reading Caraval. I honestly just didn't understand the world building of Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I'm hoping that this will help me with that. And the last fantasy series that I'm in the middle of is The Stolen Heir. I am pretty sure this is just a duology. So this is a spin-off of the Cruel Prince series. I wasn't in love with this one. I definitely like the Cruel Prince a lot better. This one was slow and they kind of just kept doing the same thing over and over. It was like set in the forest the entire time and they were just talking and traveling. It did end in a cliffhanger, and so I'm hoping there's going to be like higher stakes, more action in this book. But without further ado, let's get into this reading vlog. So I listened to the audiobook for most of today. It's the first time I've been able to sit down and read, but I'm a little over 200 pages. I will say that Rebecca Yarros writes really good dialogue. There's miscommunication in this book, which I normally really don't like, and it's really annoying. And it's like kind of annoying in this, but she writes it in a really realistic way that feels like it's a real couple arguing about like real relationship things. So it makes it a little bit better. Because that's like the biggest thing I've heard about Iron Flame that people didn't like is that Violet and Xaden are constantly fighting, which they are. It's tolerable, at least right now. I'm enjoying the politics of it. It is kind of confusing to grasp at times. Fourth Wing was less political. It was mostly about her bonding with her dragons, getting through college. This one is where the politics come in. And the world kind of confuses me a little bit. So I'm having to like flip to the map a bunch of times, being like, what? Where is that? What are they talking about? I'm okay with it so far. I'm liking it. So I'll update you when I get a little bit further. Hi, hello, good afternoon. There's my cat. Guess I should introduce you guys. She's not gonna like this. This is my cat Mabel. She doesn't like being held and she's very grumpy. So that's her. Last night I stayed up until 2:30 reading. I'm on page 400. This book is so long. It's taken me so long to get through. I gotta be honest, it's been like 2 days since I've updated you, but I am like 50 pages past part 2. And I gotta say, Rebecca Yarros is good at keeping the story interesting. I don't know how she keeps every part of this 600-page book pretty interesting. It makes me want to keep reading, which is good. That's preferable in a book. My mom are actually buddy reading this, and it's so fun. She read Fourth Wing recently, and then she got a Kindle, and she is getting into reading, which I love. We're pretty much at the same part right now. I definitely recommend buddy reading just in any capacity. It's so fun. Rebecca Yarros is like really good at keeping the storyline pretty even throughout the whole thing. Like there's no parts that are boring and unnecessary, really. Like everything I feel like that they're doing is very pertinent to the story, which I can appreciate. I think I'm liking Iron Flame better than I liked Fourth Wing. I hear a lot of people saying that they don't like Iron Flame as much as Fourth Wing, but I think that's because Fourth Wing is more of a romantasy than this one is. Of course there's romance in there, but it's honestly like Violet and Xaden arguing all the time, which I think is hilarious, honestly, because their banter is kind of funny. He's being like overprotective and Violet is like, dude, literally stop.
Let me be my own person.
But this one is getting way more into the politics, and I am so much more interested after reading this one than I was in Fourth Wing. I didn't like it very much, to be honest, so I was so hesitant to read this, but now that I am, I'm kind of loving it, not gonna lie, which is so funny because that's the opposite of like every review that I've heard. I'm really hoping to finish this in the next 2 days. Let's keep reading. Falling asleep. I'm trying to finish today, but I'm so tired. I feel like I'm at an important part, so I'm recording just in case something happens. Ugh. Finally finished. If you couldn't already tell by the clips that I put in, this was a multiple day process. This probably took me a week total, which is kind of crazy because I can usually finish a book in like 3 days, probably less if I'm really into it, but this was a monster of a book. I had to go back and look at the map and reread what I was reading before to try to figure out what was going on. It was a very crazy political world building book. Now that we've gotten a lot of the world building out of the way, I'm hoping Onyx Storm is going to be more action packed. This ended on a cliffhanger. If you know, you know. If you've read it, you know. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this out there and say that I liked this better than Fourth Wing. Yes, it was difficult to comprehend at times, but I had a good time. Really like political world building type of books, which can take a lot of brain power at times. Sometimes you definitely just want a book where you can just read it and not have to think about it. But I think this was the right book at the right time for me. I will say after part 2, it kind of dragged a little bit for me. So what I was saying before, I'm pretty sure I was like, oh, this book moves so fast. It didn't in part 2. Part 1 was way better. I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I read it, and I'm excited to continue on with the series. But also, I'm really glad to be done because I got kind of tired of reading the same book for so long. Also, one more thing. I completely forgot that I was in the middle of the Mortal Instruments series. I'm not about to include that in the video because I'm only 2 books into that 6 or 7 book series. I think 6. If I tried to finish that whole series in this video would be like 7 years long. So we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with the picks that I had at the beginning of this video. We can start on Legendary, or we can do The Prisoner's Throne. I'm leaning more towards The Prisoner's Throne right now. I think I'm in the mood for more of a laid back cozy book. I know The Cruel Prince is more of a political fantasy, but The Soul and Air gives me more cozy fantasy vibes. I don't know why. It's not what am I trying to say? It's not exactly a cozy fantasy, but it's not one that moves super quickly, if that makes any sense. I'm in the mood to read this, so I'm gonna read it. And this is a duology, so after I finish this, I'm done with the series. I'm definitely gonna have to look up what happened in The Stolen Heir. I literally only remember kind of what happened at the end, not even fully. I don't know if I remember the characters very well. I remember Oak. And I even forgot the main girl's name because that's how bad my memory is. I ran one errand today, so that means that I needed a sweet treat. For some reason, I was really craving a Sprite. It's kind of random. Okay, so I didn't sleep at all last night for some reason, but I finished this book. So this book, it's not a cozy fantasy like I was trying to explain. I finally found the word for it, and it is like a fairy tale. It gives fairy tale vibes. It reminds me of Once Upon a Broken Heart or The Assistant to the Villain, if you've read those. I could tell that Holly Black was going for a different vibe with this duology compared to The Cruel Prince. I like The Cruel Prince better. That's hard to compete with because that series is like a 4.5, almost 5-star series for me. I liked this one better than the first one. It was more action-packed. It was more like fairy tale adventure, I guess, kind of vibe. But yeah, though I enjoy being in the world of Elfheim. I just love the imagination in it. I love the different creatures. I love the fairies. It's just a vibe. And I had a lot of fun with it, especially in the middle of the night last night. So that is another series checked off the list. Technically, Fourth Wing is not a finished series yet. It's finished for now, so that's what counts. So we've got 2 series down, 1 more to go. Let's tackle the Caraval series. I'm gonna be starting Legendary probably tonight. I'm honestly gonna have to look up what happened in Caraval. I literally read it like maybe a month or 2 ago, and I forgot what happened. I really don't know what's wrong with my memory. Like, I don't know if I should get it checked. All I remember is that there was kind of like a cliffhanger-ish at the end involving her sister, and I'm pretty sure her sister is the main character in this one. It follows different characters and like her adventure that she's gonna go on. In case you didn't know, this book series is about this kind of magical circus. You can go into and enter to win a wish, I'm pretty sure. So the main character in this book ends up with 2 tickets. She brings her sister. They escape her like abusive dad and they go to Caraval. Her sister ends up being kidnapped and she has to figure out her disappearance in order to get her wish. I remember the basic storyline, I guess. Stephanie Garber's writing is definitely very whimsical. It's a little different than what I'm used to, but I really like it. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun time. It's perfect to read in the fall. So yeah, let's start this book. I just had some lunch and watched Emmy Rossum, I think is how you say it. I've been literally obsessing over her. I love her videos. Anyways, in like 20 minutes, I'm gonna go pick up some bookshelves. They're gonna go right beside my white bookshelf in my room. There's 2 of them, so they're gonna go on either side. Anyway, I'll show you guys. You'll see. Yeah, I'm really excited. Ta-da! Really quick transition. It took a really long time in real life. I'm so indecisive, and so this is probably going to change, but for now, I'm just sticking with it. I made this sort of my fall TBR shelf. I really like this shelf. I think this one's pretty. This one I think needs some work. Oh my gosh, I'm so sweaty. This is so gross. This is how they turned out. I really like them. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. I think I really like this book. I said earlier that I read the first 2 books in Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I didn't like those very much, but I love Jax, and Jax is in this one, and I'm kind of loving it, so I might be a Caraval girly. Okay, it's so weird reading Once Upon a Broken Heart before this, because now Jax is like with another girl, so it's a little weird. Bad news. Something so weird happened while I was reading yesterday. I went to Starbucks with my friend specifically to read and get further in Legendary, but as I flipped to a page, the page was ripped, and so I was like, oh, that's weird because it's a brand new book. I got it a while ago in a box set from Amazon, so I just tried to read it even though it was ripped, but then the next page was super confusing and it feels like it just like skipped a bunch. And that's because it did. It was missing 30 pages. And honestly, it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I was really enjoying the book too. So I decided to problem solve and use my big girl brain. And I went to the library and I was so glad that they had it. So I'm gonna finish on a library copy, and I'm planning on just spending the rest of today reading and trying to finish this book. I'm on page 253. There are 443 pages, so if I use my brain and do some mental math, that is 90 pages left. Oh my gosh. No, it's not 90 pages left. It's almost 200. So 190. Which for me is a lot, and it's probably going to take a long time. I read 40 pages an hour. We're doing a lot of math here. I read about 40 pages an hour, so it's going to take me... It should take me about 3 hours. No. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just see how long it takes us. I have about 15 pages left. Funny story that I'll explain later, but I have a new copy now from Amazon that I ordered. So I'm gonna finish on my new copy instead of the library copy. I have literally like less than 10 pages left, so. I love the smell of new books. It smells like a car, like a new car smell, the new book smell. Okay, I apologize for the crappy lighting, but it is the next night, and last night I finished this book. I'm also here to tell you about the whole fiasco with the ripped page and the missing pages. I got this in a box set from Amazon for Christmas. Long story short, we contacted Amazon. They were like, hey, send it back to us and then we'll send you a new one. So that's exactly what we did. We had to send back a whole new box set and then get a whole new box set. So now I have 3 new copies, which is good, but also I lost all of my tabs that were in the first and second one. So yeah, but I'm not gonna complain about new books for free, kinda. Now for what I thought about the book, I really liked it. I will say we saw less of Caraval in this book. It was more character driven, which I actually prefer character driven books, so I didn't exactly mind. In Caraval, I wasn't extremely attached to Scarlett or Julian, but I loved Donatella and Dante in this. Ugh, I loved them. I also loved Jax, so I love the characters a lot more, which really helps me get into the story more. So I really like this. Like, I'm thinking it's like a high 4. It wasn't exactly a 5-star. Towards the end, I didn't want to put it down, but in the middle, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of okay with putting this down. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. So I am going to be starting this tonight. That flame is really tall. I'm a college student and this semester just started 2 weeks ago, and it's a lot more work than I thought it was gonna be. So I haven't had a ton of time for reading, but I've been trying to do the best I can for this video. So hopefully I can finish this week. I am really excited to finish the series. I actually don't even feel like reading any other book except for this one, which is a really good sign. Ooh, it switches perspectives. That was exactly what I hoped it would do. So it switches perspectives between 2 of the sisters. So, oh, okay, I'm really excited for this one. I haven't had a 5-star read since June. I've been dying for a 5-star read, so I really have high hopes for this one. I'll update you on my thoughts once I start it. I just filmed this whole clip and realized I was out of frame. It's been a couple days since I have updated you. I'm on page 303. When I first started Legendary and this book, I got that 5-star feeling, you know, because I really like Donatella, I really like Dante, and I really like Jax. But once I got toward the middle in both books, that feeling started to go away. I'm still enjoying it, but it's not like a 5-star for me. I don't know. My last 5-star read, I'm pretty sure, was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Yeah, and I read that in June. So I don't know what's going on. I am a pretty harsh rater, I gotta say, so it's partially my fault. 5 stars is that feeling that you get in a book where you're so excited and can't put it down, blah, blah, blah. But it's also, for me, the story needs to be well written. The book needs to be well written. I'm not very picky about writing style. I'm picky about story structure. And if the story is a little bit messy and all over the place, it's most likely not going to be a 5-star for me. The story is a little bit all over the place. I kind of felt that way with Once Upon a Broken Heart too. It's kind of just like, oh, we need to do this, and oh, we need to do that, and oh, wait, we need to do this now, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this done by Sunday. Today is Friday. I have about 170, 200-ish pages left. I'm gonna get reading and I'll update you when I finish. I just figured out that this map is like an actual map in the story. I don't know, kind of cool. I literally love her descriptions of things. Like, she's literally just describing a library. And she said, everything smelled of dust trapped in light, cracked leather, and wayward dreams. Like, I would never think to describe a library like that. I love it. They're talking about the library again, but it says it now revealed an entire kingdom made of books that could have either been a book lover's nightmare or their wish come true. I feel like that would be a wish come true for me, not gonna lie. I have 10 pages left. Interesting. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh. Finished. Okay, we've reached the end of this video. I'm gonna go over the books that I've read and I'm gonna give you guys my final ratings. Let's start with the first series that we finished that's not technically finished yet, but it's finished for now. I read Iron Flame, and upon further evaluation, I'd say I give this a 3.75, which is a little bit better than what I rated this, which was a 3.5. The first part was pretty steady and entertaining for me, but towards the second part, it kind of just dragged. And I think that's what brought it down a little bit from a 4-star. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but it was very, very long. I felt like it could have been shortened. But the ending got me. The ending was a big cliffhanger that I wasn't really expecting. And the predictions that people have had on TikTok for Onyx Storm are going a little bit crazy. So I actually am excited for Onyx Storm to come out and see what happens. This was good. I would recommend it to people. It just wasn't my favorite. Now for the Stolen Heir duology. So I rated this one a 3-star. I didn't really like this one, to be honest. I like this one better, so I gave it 3.5 stars. I would only recommend the series if you really liked the Cruel Prince series and like the world. It was fun to revisit the world of Elfhame. I enjoyed it. It was cozy. The storyline wasn't the most exciting, especially in this one. I kind of got confused a little bit with what was happening in this one. The lore wasn't very clear. Not my favorite, again, but the Caraval series, I love this series. The first one was not my favorite when I read it. I didn't really feel connected to the main characters, Scarlet and Julian, in this one, but in the second one, I really enjoyed it. Like when I first started reading it, I got that 5-star feeling. Unfortunately, towards the middle, it fell a little bit flat, but I loved the characters in this one. I loved Scarlet's sister, Donatella. I think this one was my favorite. This one was really, really good. I actually fell in love with Scarlet and Julian in this book, and by the end, it was so cute. The world was very entertaining. It was very magical. The only thing is that the plot, especially in this one, was a little bit messy. And that kind of bothers me in books and kind of sways my opinion of them. If the plot would have been more, I don't know if I wanted it to be more straightforward. Maybe just not as messy, I guess. That's the only way I can think to describe it. Overall, I would give this series 4 stars. I would definitely recommend this to people. If you haven't read Once Upon a Broken Heart yet, read this first. So I actually am excited to reread Once Upon a Broken Heart now and then read the 3rd book for the first time. I just want to visit the world again. This was so fun. Thank you guys for joining me in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am now a little bit more caught up with my fantasy series. I'm still in the middle of the Mortal Instruments series, but we're not going to talk about that right now. As always, if you enjoyed hanging out with me, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!